in the south, 17, 18, but quite comfortable across much of Scotland, where there will be more sunshine to come tomorrow. Certainly a sunnier day over the Highlands and the Western Isles compared to today. Just like today, much of the south will be fine and sunny. Just the threat of a little bit of mist and low cloud on some North Sea coasts. Certainly that's going to be a bit of an issue, I suspect, on the east coast of Northern Ireland, with mist and low cloud here, the Isle of Man, and around some of the coasts in southwest Scotland. Still some cloud over the Northern Isles and the Western Isles early on Saturday, but generally that is pulling away and the winds will be lighter and we should see a bit more sunshine over the Highlands compared to today for sure. I'm hopeful that area of mist and fog in the Irish Sea will shrink away from the coasts, so we should see some lengthy sunny spells pretty much everywhere by Friday afternoon. It will be a hotter day, more widely over 30 Celsius across the heart of England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, also seeing those temperatures ticking up by a few degrees. A balmy Friday evening, and then Saturday, well, a similar story. Bit more mist and low cloud possible in eastern areas. Again, though, I'm hopeful it won't stick to the coast. It should tend to melt away through the course of the morning to reveal plenty of sunshine. A hot one, if anything, the hottest day of this spell, 32, 33 across the south, and parts of northern Scotland may get close to 30 Celsius too.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
On my show, late edition for the next hour, it's all of your front pages and any breaking news as well. Sir Keir Starmer's migrant deal is being absolutely savage on the front of the Mail. They've just gone for what a joke. There are, well, concerns over President Trump. He forgot that Liberia has the national language of English and asked why the people there speak such good English. However, Sir Keir Starmer is going to meet with President Trump in the next few days. Also, as well, a crackdown on a sick note epidemic. Are we finally going to get to the bottom of it? Stay tuned.
We're kick-starting summer with your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date, as there's an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash to be won. What would you spend it on? A brand new car, the holiday of a lifetime, or just sit back, relax and remove some of those day-to-day financial stresses? For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
The 12th, a day to celebrate history, community and family here in Northern Ireland. Join me, Arlene Foster.
And me, Dougie Beattie, as we bring you live coverage of the July 12th celebrations.
Right across the United Kingdom. It's all happening here on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dan.
It's a surprise. twist.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Late Edition and breaking tonight.
For the very first time, migrants arriving via small boat will be detained and returned to France in short order.
Sir Keir Starmer unveiled his new migrant deal. The front pages have unravelled it. Complete disaster. We'll pick that apart. Meanwhile,
many people in your country explained that Brexit would make it possible to fight more effectively against illegal immigration, but it's in fact since Brexit that the UK has no migratory agreement with the EU.
Because we won't leave the ECHR, will we, Emmanuel? But anyway, the Telegraph have gone with Macron. Brexit lies to blame for crisis. That has got a fair few people's blood boiling online. But yes, there we go. Get over it, Emmanuel. But GB News revealed a whopping 700 migrants, illegal migrants, crossed the Channel as he was making that agreement. And here's what Donald Trump makes of the whole thing.
Basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, look, he was talking about Israel and Iran, but realistically it could have been about us and the French. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is set to visit President Trump at one of his golf courses when he visits Scotland. So that was new this evening. Plus, The Guardian have got an interesting story. So it's claimed, anyway, that the 29% pay demand by the junior doctors, they're now saying is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. So they are definitely going to strike. I mean, if the doctors lost all public support, well, strap yourselves in, because joining us on the panel tonight, we have GBNews contributor and comedian Lewis Schaefer. We also have former Labour Party advisor Matthew Laza and former Tory MP Anna Firth. OK, all to play for. Huge number of front pages to get through. First, those your headlines with Sam.
Very good evening to you. The top story tonight. Sir Keir Starmer has unveiled a new pilot scheme to return some small boat arrivals to France in exchange for accepting the same number of vetted asylum seekers here. Speaking alongside President Macron in London, the Prime Minister said the deal would help break the model of people smugglers and warned that crossing the Channel will now be in vain.
This is our plan together. Hard-headed, aggressive action on all fronts to break the gang's business model, secure our borders and show that by attempting to reach the UK by small boat will only end in failure, detention and return.
Well, that scheme, starting within weeks, could see up to 50 migrants returned each week, though no official figures have been confirmed. Critics, though, are saying the government is failing to stem crossings, with almost 700 migrants arriving in the UK today alone. GB News cameras filmed multiple landings throughout the day, with 2 more boats arriving in Dover tonight. We've also heard this evening that Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has accepted an invitation to meet President Donald Trump during his expected visit to Scotland later this month. A source familiar with the plan says details are still being finalised, but the meeting would mark Trump's first trip to the UK since last year's US election. Scottish police have confirmed they're preparing for a potential presidential visit. The threat of physical attacks by Iran on UK soil has increased significantly, according to Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee. The report warns Iran poses a persistent and unpredictable danger, using third-party agents to carry out assassinations and kidnappings. 15 plots targeting British citizens or UK individuals based across other countries have been uncovered in just 2 years. Iran's intelligence services are described as willing and able to strike inside the UK. The watchdog has said the threat is ongoing and growing. And temperatures are set to soar above 34 degrees across the UK in coming days, triggering a heat health alert for every region. With the hottest weather expected through the weekend, experts are urging caution, especially for vulnerable groups. That's it from me from the newsroom for tonight. Tatiana Sanchez will be back with you from 9:30. Now, though, it's over to Patrick.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Good evening. Let's get straight into Friday's front pages. So we start with the Metro. Big picture of Johnny Depp. Here's Johnny. But then below it, Starmer and Macron reveal migrant deal. It's one in, one doubt. Picture of, not particularly flattering picture of Sir Keir Starmer there, with the EU flag in between him and Emmanuel Macron. So there we go. We've got the Sun. No, we've got the Telegraph. Sorry, apologies. They, of course, are also going off on this migrant deal and the fact that Emmanuel Macron stuck the boot into Brexit, didn't he? I tell you what, between him and Robert Peston, I'm not sure who I dislike more, actually. But anyway, when we've got the Sun, Gino, get me out of here. This is genuinely a story about Gino D'Acampo just, like, wanting to go and live in Australia. And I don't know why we're supposed to care about this or why that's front page news.
It strikes me as it's sort of what do they used to call the silly season? I mean, we've got quite a lot of real news around. Why are we worried about Gino?
There's one good comment in it. He says the reason he's got to go off to Australia is because there's so few jobs now in the UK, which is what you get with a Labour government.
Oh, Anna.
There we go. Well, there you are. So, we come on, talk about that in a minute.
I think he's actually. There are questions being raised about his behaviour. Questions, not, and no more.
Oh, I see. Yes, right. Fair enough. Let's go to the Daily Express. Cave-in will fail to stop the boats. PM's one in, one out. Channel migrant deal is ridiculed as 600 more arrive. The picture story they've gone for is Kate Moss, who's having a bit of fun in the sun. Interesting, because they put Kate Moss on page 3, and I thought they'd stop doing the page 3 girls, but apparently she's back, so there we are.
But why is she on the front page of any of the... I mean, she looks wonderful, you know, fantastic.
Maybe that's why.
Fantastic, but why is she on the...
Because she's got a very good public relations person. That's what all the... I thought you were going to say she had very good something else there for a moment, Lewis.
And she looks amazing, really.
Yeah. Let's go over to the Daily Mail. 2 good stories on the front of the Daily Mail here. I put my 11-year-old daughter on weight loss jabs, so that's the story there. Now,
Anna is outraged about that.
Well, I actually think that's really disgraceful, to be honest with you.
Absolutely pathetic. I think it's really sad, and I think it's not going to do her any good. The trouble with these weight loss jabs is, you know, people have lost a lot of weight on them, and, you know, adults can do what they like. But the problem is when you come off them. And, you know, you're not teaching good habits, are you?
Also, what message does that send to the poor girl? You know, your mum's taking you to the doctors and put her on weight loss jabs.
She's not 11 years old. She's a big girl. I hate, you know, I don't want to say it. I'm not saying it. Cut that bit out. I'm on my last.
It's live, Lewis.
She's big and fat. She's big. She's taller than the mother is.
And we started so well.
No, it's your job to stop me from saying that. Am I right about that?
Well, I can't really tell what's in your head and then jump in before you say it.
You know. Lewis, don't talk.
No. I think, you know, the reason why I would say that this girl does not need to be on the weight loss jabs is because she just seemed like a perfectly nice, lovely, normal 11-year-old girl, and there's no need for her to be on weight loss jabs. The Daily Mail's other front page there is what a joke, and that's the migrant deal being savage. The Mirror, you'll never change. It's Greg Wallace, too autistic for underwear. Yes, the MasterChef host blasted in the Beeb. A letter sacking him. I mean, basically, they've said that they had to let him go because there was no chance of him changing. He denies all allegations, but the fact that he's blaming...
I mean, if Lewis says that Kate Moss has got good PR people, which I think is absolutely right, Greg Wallace needs to sack his PR people because they're not doing him any favours, are they? Over his...
Well, unless he's
trying to jump
an
on me.
audition for the full Monty, in which case maybe they're...
No, I think he's doing a great job, because the fact is, I don't know what the story is. No one knows what the story is, but it's probably a lie. It's the BBC doing it, so there's probably a lie. And the more... and I'm going to tell you something.
The lawyers know what the story is, because they've done a report into him, which is about to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't this
so just because they did a report into the Nixon...
This is the guy who blames...
Nixon was guilty.
This is the guy who blames autism, isn't it? For
not being able to
underwear habits.
For not...
Sources
or lack of.
Sources close to him have said
yes, sources close to him. news PR.
Ever heard of autism being caused by
Neither has ever any autism charity.
I would be
Absolutely.
very careful, Anna, because there's lots of autistic people out there, and they can take offence at something like, I don't never heard of autism like that. It could be something.
Yeah,
It could be something.
yes. Trying to resurrect your reputation, I see there, Lewis.
In the disability
with
rights
the disability community.
Yes.
After you dared to tell a joke a little while ago about how...
Was it a joke?
Yeah, don't repeat it.
Yeah, but it was a joke. It was ridiculous. Of all the things, to be honest with you, this is one thing I want to... Of all the things you've said, Lewis, that was something that I completely defended.
Yes, that completely bothered those people. So you got to be very careful with people, because I know we're thinking disability people, like they're in wheelchairs, they lost their legs, they maybe need some money. But there could be other types of people you can't see.
Yes, I'm worried about the mum of the 11-year-old coming forward after you called her daughter fat.
Yes, well, to blame the mother.
But Lewis, have you ever heard of an autistic person having a problem with their underwear?
None of the autism charities have as well. And as Patrick says, you know, if you keep your trousers on, nobody will ever see.
I have it around Anne. I have trouble keeping my...
Oh, no.
Is that what she's getting at?
Right, the I-paper saying that new migrants...
You have to be stronger, Patrick. You've got to be safe. I don't speak for Louis Schaefer. They're having him on because they want to be nice to the headliners community and keep them, you know, because they're as crazy as the... people.
No, I have you on because I really like you. Anyway, the new migrant swap deal to start in weeks as Macron blames Brexit for small boat crisis. The Times crackdown to cure UK's sick note epidemic. There's a funny story at the top there, which Matthew pointed out, which is that Meta, which is the Facebook group, Zuckerberg group, has poached a former Apple engineer to join their superintelligence team, and they're offered to pay him 200 million quid to join, which is bonkers.
It's bonkers, but it's great news, because you know how every kid wants to be a footballer because they think they get a telephone number salary? Maybe every kid will now want to be a computer engineer because they could get 200 million quid.
Yeah, but then we're just nerds, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but the world needs more nerds, doesn't it?
Does it? So then we were on to... We've done the Times. So we're on to the Daily Star now, which is Trump does Dumbs Up, which is... him with the president of Liberia. He didn't realise that in Liberia, apparently, the first language is English, and then he asked him, gosh, your English is so good. Right, those are your front pages. So the paper we're going to focus on now is the Daily Mail. Sir Keir Starmer's migrant deal, what a joke. We got a little clip here about Sir Keir Starmer at this press conference talking about accepting asylum seekers.
So let me address that directly. We accept genuine asylum seekers because it is right that we offer a haven to those in most dire need. But there's also something else here, something more practical, which is that we simply cannot solve a challenge like stopping the boats by acting alone and telling our allies that we won't play ball.
It's pathetic, isn't it? It's pathetic. Well, Anna, this deal, what a joke the Mail have gone for. We show that. What do you think?
This deal is actually going to increase the numbers. He's going to produce this other route whereby you can come across if you go to this place in Calais and you can produce the right papers. So those people are going to come across, and then those that don't get accepted will go down to the coast and get on a boat anyway. So we're now going to have increased numbers. It's going to be it's just like the welfare
absolutely
reform
not.
thing. He said he was going to save money. It's ended up costing us money. Says he's going to smash the gangs. In fact, he's going to give the gangs another route to use.
Matthew, you had the opportunity today to stand up in front of Emmanuel Macron and say what he said on Twitter and what he says to sometimes when he's at the little plinth in Downing Street, which is that actually it's an affront to British people, an affront to British taxpayers, an affront to law-abiding citizens that we've got loads of young blokes breaking into Britain every day. And he didn't do that. He went off on the, oh, we need to stop this Bartra. This is a humanitarian crisis. So wet.
Well, I think it's... But let's not forget that a number of migrants have died attempting to cross the Channel. They are exploited by people traffickers, but clearly a large number of them are economic migrants, and we need to stop them coming. This won't increase the numbers. This is very similar to what happened when, way back in the early noughties, when there was the Sangat refugee camp, which was a real problem in Calais, and they did a similar deal, the Labour government then, it closed down and the problem got solved. So they need to do the same thing this time.
What do you think the Prime Minister has let Britain down here, Lewis, with this?
I'm not allowed to say. I'm not allowed to say. Because the people know what I'm thinking, and they're thinking the same thing, too. It doesn't take two. World War II is happening. We need to get the Nazis to agree with us to stop the war. No, you've got to Sorry.
That's all right, go on.
You got to stop, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so ridiculous. It's not for me. I am, you know, I'm not, you know, he's your prime minister. He's absolutely, I don't want to say what I want to say.
You think he's not good enough to be prime minister, basically? Is that right?
No, he's not doing the right thing. He's in the pocket of Team World, of the globalists. It's not that he's not too good. He's one of the best. He's brilliant. He looks good. He looks very manly. Yeah, I'd rather have him than at least the way he. I'm not saying I'm thinking bad thoughts about the guy, but he looks good. But he's not doing what needs to be done. Donald Trump, Patrick, stopped people crossing into America, and there's no English Channel down there.
Well, I mean, we'll come on to the fact that supposedly Starmer's going to meet Trump in the coming weeks, I think it is, isn't it, when Trump arrives. So we'll have to see that. This one in, one out thing, I must say, I am deeply, deeply sceptical of that work.
What's so irritating is we've given the French £700 million. They've finally got those gendarmerie have got down to the beach. We've seen them go into the water.
Yeah.
We've seen them slashing the boats, which is what needs to happen.
No, it doesn't.
In the shallow
it
water.
doesn't. Let them do whatever they want to do.
Shallow water.
No, Anna, I don't give a damn. We shouldn't care what the French are doing. We should care.
So we should give them £700 million and just...
No, we shouldn't have given them any money, but the boats are coming, and they should be stopped halfway in the middle. They should be stopped. And if... I don't know how you stop it. I do know how. Everybody knows how to stop it.
That is absolutely ridiculous. If we're going to stop the boats, we should stop them in shallow water where they're not going to drown.
Stop being so nice. This is the problem with letting women vote. You're too nice. And Matthew is saying, well, I don't want to disagree with her. I wouldn't want to disagree with her either. She's scary.
Oh, no, believe you me, Lewis, I disagree with Anna regularly.
If you'd have watched the previous show. So let's just have a little listen to the front of the Daily Telegraph. This is what Emmanuel Macron actually said earlier on about Brexit.
Need to understand that since Brexit, and I'm saying all this quite honestly, I know it's not your case, Prime Minister, but many people in your country explained that Brexit would make it possible to fight more effectively against illegal immigration, but it's in fact since Brexit that UK has no migratory agreement with the EU. In fact, therefore, for candidates for the crossing, those alternative legal admission route, nor a readmission scheme after a crossing, it creates an incentive to make the crossing the precise opposite what the Brexit has promised.
OK, the problem for Emmanuel Macron there is, of course, that we could just leave the ECHR, couldn't we? That's the thing that he's not saying. We could just leave the ECHR, then we wouldn't need a returns agreement with the EU, all of that stuff. And I worry, Matthew, that Sir Keir Starmer's point of negotiation with Emmanuel Macron hinges on that, where he feels as though he's negotiating with a superior because Emmanuel Macron is Mr. EU and Sir Keir Starmer didn't want to leave the EU, and now we're at this point of weakness, and it's pathetic.
No, I mean, look, Macron is absolutely right. Now, this is just factual, which is we don't have a returns agreement with the EU because we're not in the EU. When we're in the EU, what happens is that under the EU rules, you are meant to apply for asylum in the first country that you come to.
We weren't enforcing it, though, were we?
No, it could. Well, it was enforced sometimes, but it wasn't enforced enough. I agree, and because that's actually what some of the countries like where people arrive at the beginning, like Greece and Spain, they're actually cross with Macron for having done his deal today with Starmer because Macron is saying he's going to push people back to the first country. So, on a factual point, he's right. I'm not sure it was particularly politically useful to Starmer to start using the B word.
This is the guy, though. Seriously, he comes. I just find it. How dare he?
He's only got a couple of years left.
Exactly. He's come across here as a head of state. He hasn't come across here as a head of government. He's come as the king's... Well, in this case, he is both, but he's primarily a guest of our king in our country. How dare he start talking about a vote where, nearly 50%, more than 50%...
He didn't say it shouldn't happen. He said it's just a consequence of it, to be fair to him.
True, but when he was addressing the Mansion House, he made it very clear that he thought that Brexit was a bad thing for the EU and a bad thing for our country. How dare he say that?
I think doing it in front of the king would have been one thing, but doing it at the dinner in the City of London is another.
What do you make of Macron saying that there?
I mean, Macron, he represents Team World. He's like, it's like Keir Starmer, the two of them.
Who are these globalists,
This is the
Lewis?
most boring country in the world now. It used to be fabulous, this country. Britain used to, that's why I came here. It used to be a great country. We got to hear this stuff day in and day out. It's driving me insane. It's driving you insane. It should drive you insane, but you got to, I'm a
But you are yourself an immigrant, Lewis.
Yes.
Let us not forget.
Yes, but
you're part of the
we don't need, I'm not,
immigration story.
Yes.
It is Britain.
Yes, and they let me in, and that's their mistake.
I'm just texting Yvette Cooper to just get the file out.
Get me out. Here's the thing. They want to pay my bill to fly back. This country is a great country. They should just block the boats from coming. Okay. Block them, block them, block them. And everybody who's watching this thing, this is why I'm a fan favorite. Why people like me? Why do they like me? I'm not he's a commentator. Why do they like me? Because I'm telling the truth. The truth is, and you're right, and you can feel what you're saying, which is Macron is garbage. Okay? Keir Starmer is not fighting for this country. The King of England cares more about some other places rather than us in this country. It's so easy to block a boat. 700 people came today. 700.
I think that particular tirade there is probably going to get clipped up and go viral, Lewis.
It should go viral.
For the right reasons.
Is that true?
Which makes a change. Which
is that
good.
right? Is that right?
I think so. I think so. Now, a lot of people out there will be agreeing with that.
One exception, though, Lewis. I don't agree that the king of our country doesn't care about our country.
Yeah, because you live here and you love the guy, and you're reminded of his lovely mother.
Absolutely.
The fact is, I don't want to say the king is bad, but the king doesn't represent the people of this country.
I don't think the king's bad. I think I must say, what I will say about this is that I think there have been some very questionable advice given to the king.
Oh, to the king. Blame the people. The king is a bright guy. He comes from a good family, been around for thousands of years.
I know. I think there's been some very questionable, including today, by the way, where we've got this migrant deal and the king is meeting with the RNLI and he's hearing these horror stories of people being pulled out the channel. You think, has he been to the local primary schools where girls have been sexually assaulted by migrants? Yeah. Because that's a horror story. Does he care more about...
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the people of this country.
Do you think it was really indicative, though, that when Macron was speaking today, it wasn't until the very last thing, he was almost about to finish, when he said, finally, we're going to do some work about the people smuggling in the channel?
Okay, it's not about... This is why the...
We've got to go. We're out of time. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm really enjoying the conversation, but we have to go. Coming up, President Trump's take on this UK-France migrant deal.
Basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yes. The junior doctors, you're not going to like what they have to say tonight. Stay tuned.
Five hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the
unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Sally first. How can this be good?
I'm not sure if it's good, but I wouldn't say it's bad. I would defend everyone's choice to, if they can afford it, send their child to whatever care facility that they choose. And I think when you're talking about very young preschool children, there's an awful lot of life ahead of them where, you know, they can learn that life isn't always going to shower you with rose petals and tasting menus. If it suits the parents, if it suits the child, why not? And we are talking about a very small sector of society who, A, can afford this sort of option with your preschool childcare, and it's for a very short time. So there's obviously a market for it. They've come all the way over from Singapore to set this up. It's their first outpost in the UK. So, yeah, good luck. If there's a gap in the market, fill it.
I know I'm a mother of 4 and I've got my own business, and even when we sit down for tea at night, I'm still on my phone, I'm still emailing. So for me, it's kind of like, I'm wondering if these parents are working 24/7 and they're trying to offset the guilt because they're really time poor with the kids. I mean, I've got 4 boys and I do think I naturally pamper them, because I don't know about you, Stephen, but when I was growing up, I was constantly told I didn't even know I was born, whatever that means. And so it's like, I think each generation we pamper our kids even more, you know?
But Davinia, when you're sitting down with your kids having dinner, are you giving them a crisp golden spanakopita with refreshing tzatziki, followed by smoky jambalaya studded with free-range chicken and prawns? Or are they getting beans on toast?
Funnily enough, Stephen, that's a no.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Who is he? What's he doing there?
They already know who you are, though.
Don't miss this special reunion, Eamon and Anne together again, only on GB News Breakfast this weekend from 6 a.m.
And is that a gardening tan?
No, it's a cypress tan.
Welcome back to Late Edition. So we've got a combination of stories for you now. The Guardian, along their right-hand column, doctors' leader, 29% claim is non-negotiable. So the resident doctors' leader is saying they're not going to budge on it. He's Dr. Tom Dolphin, the British Medical Association's new council chair. So that's that. But then if we also look at the Daily Telegraph, they've got a story here, which is that West Streeting clears the way to doctors topping up their pay with pensions. And this is actually good, I think, because a lot of people have been calling for this. If you are in the public sector, especially in the medical profession, you get an incredible pension, certainly much more than most people in the private sector get. And a way of topping up your salary could be to basically forego a bit of your pension, which makes obvious sense, but obviously they won't accept that, will they? Because they're a bunch of militant lunatics. But anyway, 29% claim not negotiable. Have I got a clip I can go to of this BMA? Yeah, I do. So this guy, right, the BMA Resident Doctors Committee co-chair is a bloke called Dr. Ross Nieuwoud. And I think, can I go to the clip of him on it's one of him on the Jeremy Vine show, where our very own Carol Malone absolutely savaged him.
When did the pay erosion start? Did you say 2008?
2008.
And when did you become a doctor?
I became a doctor in 2021.
So how can you complain about pay erosion when you weren't even a doctor?
Will die.
There is.
And do you care about that?
Let's just be clear. For
balance,
balance, they're allowed to strike.
If you cared about... You know what? It should be illegal for doctors to strike.
Well, hang on. They're allowed to strike. They're allowed to strike.
You shouldn't be allowed to strike because you're willfully putting people's lives in danger. And the ones that you're not putting in danger, you're causing fear, you're causing terror, you're causing pain, you're causing worry and anxiety with sick people, some of the most vulnerable people in society, who you took an oath to protect.
I mean, this is the point. So they're complaining about they need pay restoration, but they started working at a time... Like, they went into a profession after their pay had... Like,
knowing what they were going to get.
Be paid. That's the way to put it. Go on, yeah.
No, I mean, that's the whole point. It is incredibly hard to become a doctor in this country. Loads and loads of young people get turned down, and yet you've got these doctors who've gone into the profession. It's supposed to be a caring profession. They know what the salary is, and as soon as they've got into the profession, it's not acceptable. I mean, the clue is in the name. It's the National Health Service. It's not the Goldman Sachs service.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go into the private sector, earn a fortune, you're free to do so. If you go into the medical profession, you know that, particularly in the early years, you won't be paid so much. But your salary goes up, and consultants are all on well over 100,000. But the big golden goose in the health service is the pension.
So here we go. So this is the...
Yeah, absolutely. So what the Cabinet Office, which is the kind of coordinating body that sort of comes up with solutions in government, it said it's understood to be considering proposals to increase pay in exchange for the government making a lower pension contribution. So the overall bill to the government doesn't go up. They just say, if you want us to pay now, we're not going to put as much into your pension, and therefore, you know, you're going to have a smaller income in retirement.
But they won't accept that, though.
No, well, it won't. But it's good because it's at least it's going on to their...
Well, it also makes
it's
people...
kind of forcing them to come to a
yeah,
conclusion.
and it also makes people like us talk about how good a pension they get.
Exactly. So I think it's clever tactics by the government. But there's an interesting little side bit in this story. Do you remember Lord Robert Winston, the fertility guru, who went into the Lords? And I think he certainly was a Labour peer. I presume he's still in the Labour Party. He resigned, and therefore pretty pro-trade union generally. He resigned from the BMA last night, despite decades in the medical profession, warning the strikes would damage public trust in the profession.
Yeah,
and he accused the union's leaders of showing a poor example to young medics.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, well done, well done. Lewis, should they be banned from striking, these resident doctors, junior doctors, do you think?
I mean, I've said it before, I think doctors everywhere are about 95% useless. And I think they should be fired. I think 95% of the doctors should be fired. I don't think we need doctors. I think we need a low-carb diet, a meat diet. Look at how great I look. I'm 68 years old.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Look at how great these two people are. We don't need doctors. And the truth is, I remember reading...
I'm not sure I agree, Lewis, but...
Well, I know you don't agree, because you believe in a big state thing, or let's treat people with a tiny little germs, we'll give them a pill. It's like, I heard about this years ago, that the doctors, I'm not going to say which country, went on strike, and the death rate went down. The doctors are not... Yes.
Show me the figures in the brain, Lewis, and I'll believe you.
Yeah. The death rate went down.
Don't show me anything else.
And I think Anna's about to agree with me.
No, I think Anna's about to explode.
I'd love to agree with you, Lewis, but not on this one. Not on this one.
Because you're a Tory.
No.
Which is you're a Tory. The Tories are the same with Labour. They believe in this whole state. The BBC is amazing. The NHS is amazing. It's all amazing. It's all gone.
Because, Lewis, I've got kids and I've taken them into A&E when they've been ill, and I've really, really been grateful that the doctors have been there to treat them.
How did they treat them?
I don't think that doctors should be allowed to strike if they're A&E doctors. I don't think they should strike if they're high dependency unit doctors, and I'm not even sure they should strike if they're on a maternity leave. I can tell you, if you're going to hospital in labour, you really want a doctor.
You know what the thing is as well? They'll never get anything they ever want again, these resident doctors, because people thought they were doing it because they hate the Tories, and people were like, oh, OK, maybe I hate the Tories as well. And they thought, OK, maybe we've had 14 years this government and everything. Well, they've got 22% pay rise. They've got a Labour government in now, and they're doing it again. I got to say, game over.
If you've got people like Winston against you, he says strike action completely ignores the vulnerability of the people in front of you.
Yeah.
That's if you believe in doctors.
Do you believe in the tooth fairy?
More than in NHS or maybe even American mainstream medical doctors, yes. Those doctors today are...
The older doctors don't agree with this either. One doctor rang up LBC and he said, I am receiving £3,700 every month after tax as a retired person because I've got a massive pension, so they do not need more money.
Yeah. All right, loads more on. Some issues, I mean, there's a development in the Greg Wallace saga. Also, there's some stuff from President Trump and Liberia, and President Trump is arriving in Scotland in, I think it's a couple of weeks' time. A couple of weeks' time, and Sir Keir Starmer is going to meet him, so there we go. Stay tuned to Late Edition.
Good evening. Yes, it's time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Very warm one today. Tomorrow, if anything, a little bit hotter and a bit sunnier for many too. Again, some coasts will be a little bit misty and murky. High pressure's been building in for the past couple of days. These weather fronts still flirting with the far north of Scotland. They've provided some thicker cloud here and a little bit of rain. Still a bit damp across Shetland through the course of the night, but most places will have a dry night with lengthy clear spells. We will see some mist and fog around Irish sea coast that could just drift inland over parts of northwest England, the east of Northern Ireland and southwest Scotland. A warm one, especially in towns and cities in the south. 17, 18, but quite comfortable across much of Scotland, where there will be more sunshine to come tomorrow. Certainly a sunnier day over the Highlands and the Western Isles compared to today. Just like today, much of the south will be fine and sunny, just a threat of a little bit of mist and low cloud on some North Sea coasts. Certainly that's going to be a bit of an issue, I suspect, on the east coast of Northern Ireland, with mist and low cloud here, the Isle of Man, and around some of the coasts in southwest Scotland. Still some cloud over the Northern Isles and the Western Isles early on Saturday, but generally that is pulling away and the winds will be lighter and we should see a bit more sunshine over the Highlands compared to today for sure. I'm hopeful that area of mist and fog in the Irish Sea will shrink away from the coasts So we should see some lengthy sunny spells pretty much everywhere by Friday afternoon. It will be a hotter day, more widely over 30 Celsius across the heart of England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, also seeing those temperatures ticking up by a few degrees. A balmy Friday evening, and then Saturday, well, a similar story. Bit more mist and low cloud possible in eastern areas. Again, though, I'm hopeful it won't stick to the coast. It should tend to melt away through the course of the morning to reveal plenty of sunshine. A hot one, if anything, the hottest day of this spell, 32, 33 across the south, and parts of northern Scotland may get close to 30 Celsius too.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Late Edition. So we whizzed you through the migrant deal. The other two main stories of the day, really, I suppose, on the front pages are the medical side of it, the junior doctors. But the Mirror have gone for You'll Never Change. And it's Greg Wallace. It's the update on this never-ending saga. This Greg Wallace storm. The MasterChef host has been blasted by the Beeb. Apparently they said to him, I do not have confidence that you can change. He's been axed, and he's furious. He's hired a top lawyer to fight the claims, which was probably worth bearing in mind when we have this discussion now, by the way, but hired a top lawyer to fight the claims. But last night, it was the fact that he said it was a source close to him said because he was autistic, he couldn't wear underwear. And I don't know, the difficulty with this is that like, part of me thinks that the BBC sometimes overcompensates because they let Savile wander the corridors and Hugh Edwards read the news for all those years. But then, like, I know, there's a lot of women who apparently come forward here. What do you think, Matthew, about that?
Well, I think it's just an extraordinary attempt by Wallace to said this. I mean, all the sort of neurodiversity, autism charities have gone crazy. So one of them said, to be clear, being autistic is never an excuse for misconduct. He's trying to make it so, and it's not doing well for him. The other thing is the BBC's got a whole series of MasterChef, which has probably cost, you know, several mil, just sitting on a shelf, and they're in this great dilemma, should they, shouldn't they show it?
I mean, the thing is with that, OK, should they or should they not? So they filmed it, it's there. Everyone now knows what these allegations are. The BBC have made it public that they appear to be sacking the guy. He's not coming back. Why don't you just show people choose to watch it if they want to watch it?
Absolutely.
It's not like he was...
It's no illegality. It's misconduct and ill judgment. There's no police aren't involved or anything.
Well, not at the moment.
As far as we know.
How do you feel about this, Anna? What do you think?
I think the guy should not be praying in aid autism. I think that is insulting to a lot of people who have a very serious condition. I think that's outrageous. He should back right off there. But I do think I don't see an issue with them showing the programmes because I see them as two completely distinct issues. You know, one is the entertainment value for, and you know, the BBC have actually contracted for him to do those programmes. He's done the programmes. They've got the content. People would like to see them. His behaviour is something totally separate, and action has been taken. So
yeah, and let me say. This is, you know, I think to start using some of these excuses about, like, the reason I couldn't wear underwear was because of autism, when, like I said before, it doesn't really matter unless you take your pants off, does it? And then, like, that's the problem. What do you make?
It's another problem altogether. It's nothing to do with...
What do you think? Do you think that this is yet another alleged issue at the BBC, isn't it?
It's all about the BBC, and the BBC is the second worst thing about this country. Is basically people have to pay. They got to pay £175 or however much it is to be propagandized to, and that's why we pay attention to it, because they basically are stealing £175.
I think it's a fine organisation, which is a pride of Britain.
I know you do, because both of you people are the worst things about this.
But we're number one.
Well, maybe maybe not the worst thing. You're good. You're good, but the BBC and has great people working at that. That they give me a job. Not that this place gives me any job. They don't pay me very much, and I'm out here once a week. So the hell with GB News too. The hell with the Brits.
It was going so well for you.
You know what it was? That's what I thought. I thought I was going to do great in the country, and then my wife divorced me. It was just horrible. My kids
you
are
can
horrible.
trace a lot back to that moment, I think. But anyway, right. So
you can. But the BBC, somebody needs to say it. The people don't want the BBC. Hundreds of thousands of people are not paying for the BBC.
Millions and millions tune in every day and entrust it.
Because they get a letter. They get a horrible letter. I should bring.
It doesn't make them watch.
No.
Yeah. I've got a guest. Sorry, guys. I've got a guest I want to squeeze in here. So this is another story which is going to be big in the coming days. So British pubs are in peril. More than a boozer a day is set to close across the country this year. So 5,600 jobs are predicted to be lost. We're losing a pub a day, more than a pub a day, and that's on top of the previous figures, which were pretty damning as well. Thank you very much to my guest now. It's Clive Watson, who's the founder of the City Pub Group. Clive, tremendous to see you. Thank you so much. So is this true then? We're losing just over a pub a day, are we?
Yeah, well, the statistics don't lie. And to be honest, that's going to accelerate because the last Rachel Reeves budget whacked up employee costs. As a result of her budget, I think it was estimated £1,500 extra cost to pubs to employ staff, one member of staff. And of course, business rates. People forget business rates, but Rachel Reeves cut the business rates released from 75% to 40%. So that's also meant a massive hike in the business rates that pubs pay. So it's a triple whammy.
OK. And the other aspect that no one seems to be talking about is it's not just the loss of a pub and quite often with it the beating heart of whatever community, especially in rural England, that goes with it. It's jobs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's jobs, it's people working in the local communities. You say it's the hub of the community. It's almost like this government just doesn't like the pub industry. Because if they did, I mean, if you remember, they tried to ban smoking, for instance, outside, but they sort of rode back on that. But it's almost like they have this puritanical approach to the pub industry. Let's tax it, let's squeeze it even more. And they forget that they're losing a part of our heritage.
Do you think that in a sense, is an attack on Britain, Clive? Just quickly, is that an attack on Britain? There is something inherently British about going to the pub, going there with your mates, having a pub on every single corner. And going after that, I think, is an attack on Britishness, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they sort of deliberately go out to attack Britishness, but as a result of their actions, they are attacking a big part of our heritage, a big part of our culture. So yes, in an indirect way, they're attacking Britain.
Clive, thank you very much. Good luck to you as well. I'd like to catch up with you again very soon. It's Clive Watson is the founder of the City Pub Group. More than a pub a day is closing in Britain. Well, get ready for state-funded restaurants. Yes, that's right, only under Labour. I'll bring you the full story on that shortly. And I promise you I will play you that clip of President Trump not having his finest hour. To be fair on the big guy with the President of Liberia. Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Storm Gabriel is set to affect many areas of Central Europe, and to the east of this, the intense heat wave continues, triggering some thunderstorms at times. But across many areas of Western Europe, largely settled, some showers at times, but it is going to be feeling warm in the sunshine. The main shower risk is as we move our way eastwards, particularly along the Adriatic coastline and then also parts of Greece. So once again, we could see some intense thunderstorms, but for many areas, plenty of sunshine and plenty of warm temperatures too.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power. Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight, late edition. Let's look at the Daily Star. Trump does dumbs up. Your English is so good. What's your first language, Donald? Well, I think we've got a clip of this actual moment. It's President Trump who's in Liberia, and this is what happened.
I want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. It's such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
I have people at this table can't speak nearly as well, and they come from.
It's their national language, isn't it?
Yes. It was founded by freed American slaves. Yeah. So it's not only is English the national language, but English with an American accent is the national language.
Oh, Lewis, as the American in the room, what do you think of that?
I think Liberia is a pointless little country in Africa. I mean, really. You guys never heard of it. Nobody out there has heard of it. I mean, you should be.
Heard of it? I've given you a fact about it. I didn't even have to look it up.
I mean, and also, what's his name is getting old. You know, poor Donald Trump, he's getting old.
Oh, so you didn't say that about Joe Biden, did you? You called him Sleepy Joe and all of that?
I didn't call him Sleepy Joe. Whatever. I don't even use the word.
You called him worse?
I called him worse. Donald Trump is a great one. He made a little mistake. Who cares? It's
if that had been Biden, there'd have been an absolute scandal.
What I will say is poor briefing. Go on.
Yes.
Really poor briefing. But if this had taken place 50 years ago, he'd have got away with it completely. Because no one would have heard of it. It wouldn't have been seen.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about it. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, cut him a little bit of slack. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Nobody would have cut Biden that slack.
I wouldn't cut you that slack, Matthew.
No.
If you made that mistake.
Oh.
But you wouldn't have made that mistake.
Well,
Lewis would have made that mistake.
I would have made it.
No, Lewis would have done it deliberately. This is the difference. You'd have known full well that was his first language and you'd have still pressed him.
And you know, maybe Donald Trump is doing it deliberately. He's really funny. But the fact is, we have the BBC BBC here.
Oh, not back to the BBC.
It's about the BBC. You guys want to, like, brush over the BBC.
Are we going to talk about Donald Trump opening his own golf course at the taxpayers' expense?
Right, well, I wasn't necessarily aware of that, but what I will say is this leads us seamlessly on to the news that broke about, I don't know, when was it? 9:20 now this evening. So Sir Keir Starmer is going to meet with President Trump when he comes, I think, between the 24th and 28th of July, although we've not had official confirmation of those days, at his 2 golf courses in Scotland. This is great, Keir Starmer, going to go meet the President again. Yay, no?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, you know, what is he going to give away this time? I mean, you know, but seriously, I mean, the guy is a disaster. And, you know, we you know...
What, because he's going to have talks with the President of the United States in the national interest?
Tiny tariff deal last time, didn't he?
Well, he's also got more support for Ukraine. And
gives in to the Mauritius, gives in to Gibraltar.
Well, I think what's more interesting is the point I was making is that, there's going to be controvery in America. He's going to open the golf course.
I think we actually... He needs to... This one in and one out thing...
We've done that.
What we want is Starmer out.
Right.
We'll take someone else in and Starmer out.
Anna, we'll see what happens to the Tories in the next election.
Is it a good thing for Britain? Doesn't it just show what a special relationship we've got with the United States? The President Trump has got business assets here, and he's turning up. He's going to be showing what they are. I don't know if we've got any footage of his golf courses or anything like that, where they are or anything like that. But, you know, it's nice thing. And Keir Starmer's in a tricky position because a load of his mates, including David Lammy, are going to have to go and meet the guy again, despite saying he's a neo-Nazi sympathising, woman-hating sociopath.
Well, was Starmer invited by Trump, or did Starmer invite Trump? It's Starmer's job. It's saying, this is my country. When you're visiting the country, if you'd like to come down to London, come down and see me.
Trump invited Starmer, apparently.
Yes.
On his taxpayer-funded jolly. Which actually, my view is that wouldn't accord with the ethical rules they have in the States, so watch for the controversy there.
You keep banging on about the taxpayer thing. What is it?
Because you're not meant to do something in office for your own benefit, and in fact, he's going to go and open his own golf course. There's a new building or something named after his mum, and he's going to go and open it. So I think that you'll see the Democrats say...
I mean, the golf course exists. They've already existed. Everyone knows they're his. I mean,
well, they wanted to build an extra one, and the SNP wouldn't let them.
This is just Matthew showing off that he knows about this little rule. No, this is totally...
It's me saying that Donald Trump should have the rules applied to him like everybody else, Anna.
Come on, Matthew. This is totally insignificant. I mean, he's going to Scotland. He loves Scotland, and he's invited...
Scotland doesn't love him, though.
He's invited Starmer up.
The SNP. They're going to have to go meet him.
And hope he stays there and doesn't come back.
We've got an inside page here from tomorrow's Daily Telegraph. It's quite an interesting story. Labour's planning to launch state-funded restaurants has provoked backlash from hospitality chiefs who've described the move as anti-business. So there's talk of things like £3 meals to basically make sure that people who are a bit less well-off in places like Nottingham and Dundee might be able to go and receive a bit of dinner. Broadly speaking, I think I'm kind of in favour of this. Restaurant...
It happened in the war. They had these restaurants in the war, obviously, so people could go and get 1 square meal a day. It's a bit like kind of school dinners for people on low income.
Does it cost the taxpayer or anything?
Well, they're giving 1.5 million of taxpayer funding, yes, to get it going. But if that means people can go to work and people can get out of the house.
I don't know, Lucy, your views on this? Is it just communism?
It is just communism. I mean, that's the problem with this country is there's not enough money and people are spending more than you have or we have. You have. And it's the same thing that's happening in New York with that communist leader. There's no such thing no such thing as democratic socialist. Democracy and socialism do not go together. And
I'm proud to be a democratic socialist.
You're not a democratic socialist. You're a communist.
All right,
This is completely and utterly...
OK, sorry.
This is complete communism. This is big statism gone mad. We're 70-odd years on from the war. We shouldn't be looking back to the war for our policies, for goodness sake.
Good point. See that?
And the OBR have said only this week that we're going to go bankrupt if we don't rein in the spending. And this is, this is exactly the sort of thing that we don't need, and...
Because they're communists. Because the Labour are communists, and half of the Tories are communists.
I've got to get to a final review of Friday's front pages, starting with The Sun. They've got Gina de Campos going to Australia. Nobody cares. The Express are going for cave-in. Will fail to stop the boats. The Daily Mail calls Starmer's migrant deal a joke. The Eye are going for new migrant swap deal. Then we've got The Times, who have got crackdown on to cure UK of sick note epidemic. The Mirror You'll never change, is what apparently the BBC told Greg Wallace before turfing him out. Greg Wallace, of course, denies anything and everything against him and has employed lawyers. There we go. The Guardian, they've got their UK and France migrant deal, and the Telegraph have also decided to go off that story as well. Thank you very much, everybody. I am not in tomorrow. I will be back on Tuesday.
Where are you going, Patrick?
I'll see you in a bit.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good evening. Yes, it's time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Very warm one today. Tomorrow, if anything, a little bit hotter and a bit sunnier for many too. Again, some coasts will be a little bit misty and murky. High pressure's been building in for the past couple of days. These weather fronts still flirting with the far north of Scotland. They've provided some thicker cloud here and a little bit of rain. Still a bit damp across Shetland through the course of the night, but most places will have a dry night with lengthy clear spells. We will see some mist and fog around Irish sea coast that could just drift inland over parts of northwest England, the east of Northern Ireland and southwest Scotland. A warm one, especially in towns and cities in the south. 17, 18, but quite comfortable across much of Scotland, where there will be more sunshine to come tomorrow. Certainly a sunnier day over the Highlands and the Western Isles compared to today. Just like today, much of the south will be fine and sunny. Just a threat of a little bit of mist and low cloud on some North Sea coasts. Certainly that's going to be a bit of an issue, I suspect, on the east coast of Northern Ireland, with mist and low cloud here, the Isle of Man, and around some of the coasts in southwest Scotland. Still some cloud over the Northern Isles and the Western Isles early on Saturday, but generally that is pulling away and the winds will be lighter and we should see a bit more sunshine over the Highlands compared to today for sure. I'm hopeful that area of mist and fog in the Irish Sea will shrink away from the coasts, so we should see some lengthy sunny spells pretty much everywhere by Friday afternoon. It will be a hotter day, more widely over 30 Celsius across the heart of England and Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, also seeing those temperatures ticking up by a few degrees. A balmy Friday evening, and then Saturday, well, a similar story. Bit more mist and low cloud possible in eastern areas. Again, though, I'm hopeful it won't stick to the coast. It should tend to melt away through the course of the morning to reveal plenty of sunshine. A hot one, if anything, the hottest day of this spell, 32, 33 across the south and parts of northern Scotland, may get close to 30 Celsius too.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel. Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point.
Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.